This is all Darwin land. They've lived in here for thousands of years. Like one of the oldest art sites has been dated over 30,000 years. So in the park itself, there's over 400 art sites. Majority of them are dating around 8,000 years at the most, but then you get your 150-year-old art sites where you see a picture of people with guns and horses and things. So first contact paintings. The actual rock is 1,650 million years old. So that actually brings it to an age where you won't find fossils in it. So this was laid down before life with bones was around. So it's a very ancient landscape. My name's Jamie. I've been a tour guide here for 18 years. That's bringing tourists up the river through Nipmuc National Park. There's a very funny story actually how I became a tour guide. I'd never seen the Gorge, and I grew up here all my life. I pictured something totally different, a very small, sort of dusty place. I decided to come out and have a look, and absolutely blown away with the way this place looks. When the Ghan received their land back, before that it was just known as Katherine Gorge National Park. Before that it actually had its own traditional name, which is Nipmuc. Thousands of years it's been passed on. It's two separate words placed together. Nipmi means cicada. Look, part of it, the L-U-K, is place or country, so cicada country. We offer quite a variety of things for the Ghan passengers to be able to do here. So we've got the normal 2-gorge cruise, we offer a 1-gorge cruise. Also you've got the helicopter flights flying over the gorge, and we do also run a cultural tour where they get to interact with the actual Ghan people. Women learn how to paint, men learn how to throw spears, basket weaving. With all the different ways that you can see the gorge, I would definitely recommend the boat cruise would be the best way to do it. For a number of reasons. One, you're right in the middle of the river. The view, you get to see all around the boat, 360 degrees. You get to see all the little critters running around the banks, all the birds. The water at this time of the year is clear enough that you look over the side of the boat, you see the fish in the water, turtles, things like that. With the Ghan guests, because they've travelled such a long way, I try to put a lot of effort into teaching them what I can while they're here. I find that everyone that's ever visited us at Nipmuc, even if they've been here 20 million times, they never cease to be amazed by how pretty the place is. Just by looking around you. Like, I've been here 18 years, I've never got sick of it yet.
I've always been a wildlife lover. Like, I've wanted to work with animals since I was about 3 years old. There's something amazing about having a predatory bird that decides to trust you. You get to know them really intimately. And then, of course, being able to display them in this particular way that we do at the Desert Park is just world class. My name's Crystal and I'm one of the bird trainers at the Alice Springs Desert Park. Good boy, you did it again. So basically we take people for a bit of a journey through Central Australia and focus on the birds that you find, the natural history, they get to see them up close and personal. This is an incredible experience for the guests of the Ghan. I think we're able to connect with everyone and they definitely come away from it absolutely beaming and mesmerised and intrigued. They want to learn more and that's really special.
Once you're at the top of the lookout, you're greeted with these beautiful panoramic views. In the distance you can see Simpson's Gap, this break in between the ranges. The West MacDonnell Ranges are located just out of Alice Springs and Simpson's Gap is one of the most iconic and spectacular sights. You're just following this red dirt path around. All of a sudden you're hit with these two beautiful cliff faces just mirroring each other and they're framing this waterhole perfectly. When you follow this natural corridor down with your eyes, you see this little keyhole view, these ghost gums standing guard at the back. I love being able to find these hidden gems of Australia and I'll never stop being surprised about what I'm going to find around the corner.
The animals have just become a very big part of my life. I would still be a camel man today, no matter what. I'm Marcus from Pindan Camel Tracks. Some people do call me the camel man. So we offer 1-hour camel tours through White Gum Station, 15 kilometres outside of Alice Springs, for the guests from the Ghan. When I was 18 years old, I hitchhiked into Broome, northern Western Australia, and I ran into a bloke with a team of camels there. I ended up working with him. After about 8 months, I just realised that camels were going to become a big part of my life. Camels are a wonderful desert animal. You know, every part of their body is designed for the desert environment. You know, sometimes the questions are the same, like, is it true that camels store water around their hump? Well, no, it's not. It's always been my sort of thing with my business, is that I want to introduce people to a camel, and I want people to enjoy that experience, to have a nice leisurely stroll surrounded by the McDonald Ranges, to listen to the birds, to listen to the wind, to spot the kangaroos, to spot the lizards. People come out from the Ghan, the total opposite, you know, camel train, modern day train. You know, camels are a soft-footed animal. They don't make any noise when they walk. They often comment how quiet and peaceful it is. You know, they experience what it was like 160 years ago. They experience what it was like when the old Afghan cameleers were helping to lay the train tracks, wandering through Central Australian bushland. It's virtually untouched, and it gives them an opportunity to sort of experience a bit of the outback.
One of our favourite animals here that we like to bring out is Angus, and he's an olive python. Pythons are of course non-venomous, so they constrict. People are still worried about them trying to constrict you, but if it comes to your face, all he's actually doing is wanting your body heat. When you hold a snake, keep your hand nice and open. If you've got an open hand, you're supporting the snake, and if it wants to move backwards, it's able to move backwards. We display a lot of reptiles here. So we have big saltwater crocodiles, we have the big parenti goannas, the large pythons, all the way down to smaller goannas, bearded dragons, frill-neck lizards, thorny devils, all the iconic things that people want to see, and not forgetting the venomous snakes. So for the guests on the Ghan, they can see the animals that would be out in the desert, but quite often desert animals are very cryptic, they're hard to see, but here they get to see them up close and learn about them as well.
The Ghan expedition has some truly unique dining experiences. The dinner in Alice Springs is incredible. It's a beautiful dinner location at the Telegraph station. It's great to see everyone come together and share this experience over a classic outback barbecue. As the sun goes down, everyone's just captivated by the famous outback night sky. It's truly special. The lunch in Cooper Pedy is a favourite. What better way to experience the town's opal mining history than having lunch underground in a working mine? It's not every day you can enjoy dinner under the stars one day and lunch underground the next. These are the truly unique moments you'll find on the Ghan expedition.
First of all, it doesn't look like you're on planet. It's unique, and different times of the day it would look completely different as well. There's hundreds of thousands of shafts uncovered and open in Cooper Pedy. 80% of the world's opal comes from Cooper Pedy. It's a love-hate relationship I have with opal mining. Yeah, well, my father came through without any family in 1969 to go to Tanner Creek because he wanted to find work in the gold fields. He came back to Cooper Pedy and began his opal mining career. Everyone has a different technique, and his technique is to go down existing holes. Maybe they make a mistake and he sees it because he reads the ground. He's got a nickname in town, Desert Fox. I think that's because he's been in most of the holes. I'd say a good 99% of the holes in Cooper Pedy. Anyway, I've been mining with him since I was about 18 years old, and we work well together. I mean, like as well as any father and son can work. So it's harder to find a good partner than it is to find opal. That's one of my father's sayings. What determines the value of an opal is basically colour. If an opal doesn't have colour, it's not valuable. There's white opal, crystal opal, grey opal, milky opal, black opal. The black opal they class as the most expensive, $8,000 a carat. Oh, it's addictive, all right? Yeah, it's unique to see it, and that's part of the addiction. You want to see that opal. unbelievable. I've seen opal in the wall many times. It's incredible. But finding opal is an awesome feeling. I guess it's like some equivalent to someone winning the lotto. But they don't see the beauty before the money, where we see the beauty and we get all these emotions running in our head. But then we see the money as well, and that gives us, that's a bonus. Tomorrow's your day. Just got to get out there, you know.
The breakaways are absolutely breathtaking. Rising up from the flat, dusty desert, looking out as far as the eye can see are just these flat top hills. And there's a story to be told about each of the rocks. It's just something you've never seen before. When you've come from Cooper Pedy, an underground mining town, to this ancient landscape, it's just such a contrast. I think it's Outback Australia's best kept secret, and what better way to experience it than on the Ghan expedition.
Information operations, are you receiving? Receiving. You can overstand clear on the north end of platform 1 for train movement, north end of platform 1.
The train has its own personality, its own feel. And when it passes the Adelaide jail, it's got a different sound, different noise, a different groan. It knows it's coming home.
In the middle of Australia, pitch black, night sky, stars out, camels, and you walk around the corner and every guest that goes there is just in awe. It's perfect.
Anything you touch on the train is heavy. The train that just left here is 901 metres and 1,759 tonne. It's not a job. It does get into your blood.
Being away from home can be hard, but being on the train, they're your family. Like, I travel with the same people and they're my train family. And just the fact that you got to go off and do these tours, something different, it adds something more to talk about. It's just, I don't know, I love it.
Each night when I go to bed, I'll make sure my window's open so I can fall asleep to the stars. It's beautiful. It's nothing that you'll see in the city.
Yeah, have they finished the people moving task on platform 2?
Yeah, that's affirmative.
So I'm up at 5:30 to allow myself a little bit more time, because usually on the Ghan I'm working at one end of the train and I sleep at the other. It's good, you can get to work in 5 minutes, you don't have to worry about peak hour traffic in the car or anything like that.
So in a normal restaurant, I can't sit down and have a conversation, but here I can sit down and have a chat to one of my guests and hear about their stories.
Okay, operations, confirmation.
They're not just a number, they're not just a customer, they are a guest. They are coming into our home, into our space. They like to share their stories and they like to feel that they're important, which on here they are.
Okay, Leroy, I'm clear, he's up on the pin.
Let's go.
It's a great way for people to escape their routine life. Some people are trapped in this little bubble and all of a sudden, bang, it's huge.
You're leaving Adelaide and the next day you wake up and it's like the red outback desert, dust everywhere.
Beautiful ghost gums, they light up like a bright light when the sun hits them. If you're heading into Katherine and it's 98% humidity and you've got these massive thunderclouds, as soon as you wake up you can feel it. You're like, yep, we're in Katherine. Rolling hills of these beautiful flowers, purple and yellow. And it's those moments that stick in your head and stick in your mind. Day in, day out, day in, day out.
Back and forth, back and forth.
I woke up and there's kangaroos just looking in my window.
You can look out on either side of the train and for as far as the eye can see, you've got the horizon. When there's clouds and the sun hits the clouds, it's just beautiful. So you've got blues, you've got purples, you've got these amazing oranges, but it's not just this one little ball, it's the whole sky.
It is emotional for them, and it is for us as well. We do get to form that friendship.
And so when you have to say goodbye, you're like, oh, that was fun. Let's keep going.
For the best Ghan and Indian Pacific deals, check out discoveraustralia.com now.